board through the patch bay because we have adapter cables for that. We have XLR to these things. Okay, except that you plugs into a channel, a set channel. We don't have set channels on this anymore, unless we have a set channel on the blade. We can, which I believe they're all taken, but there is one opened up. We could theoretically put that on the patch bay and allow people to plug DJ coffins in. And that's something that we're, again, feedback. That's something that if we have to do something like that, we still can. Right now, Cut Supreme, for example, is going to have to put it in through the user panel.
Yeah, that's what Cut does. He's got it, and he's got those plugs in there, and they go to like an XLR connector, and he's running that, and then he's in CR2.
Right,
and
right.
He's doing his thing there. And
yeah, but he had to flop the lines all the way across.
Yeah. He's happy though. He's doing his thing. You know?
Yeah, but you can't do that with this.
Okay. So if he wants to do that, he's going to have to do it from 3 or 2?
He's going to have to do it from the user panel. He has to plug into the user panel.
Plug into the RCAs?
Yeah, into the RCAs. But he can plug into the RCAs and CR2 and access them here.
All right. So he wants to spread out.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So, okay.
So Matt, I missed like the first 10 minutes. So the lit up level is what's going on right now. The middle level is that.
Oh, the meters. Okay. Thank you for mentioning that, because you see 3 meters there: program, audition, and switched. And switched right now, they're controlled here. Okay. It says meter. I don't know if you can see that here. If Bob can get the camera out where my finger is, meter. Okay. And you see the external set button again. And external set, the way we have it done is every external set is air. Okay? Anywhere you see it, air. But the switch can also be used for aux or utility. Okay? Program and audition have their own meters. Right now there's nothing going through them, but when there is, you'll see them.
What about telephone? Does it have a separate meter?
That's it.
Okay, so
so if you want a separate meter for telephone, for the tel channel over there, if it's going to be utility, you select utility and it'll come up through the switched. Okay, but in the meantime, we have it set for air because that also tells you that you're on the air. Remember that we always have the air monitors on there. Instead of program, we always select air so we know we're on. Same thing here. And also you have a separate meter now that indicates whether you're on, because that is hooked up to the air source, not hooked up to the blade or anything like that. And that way you're safe. Now, of course, the same thing. If you, for some reason, you are off the air, you know how to, call Frank and tell him we're off the air, but always leave something on in case you go back on, and also remember you're still on the stream, so you still have to continue doing your show.
Where's the sweet spot on that meter? I mean, it's up in the yellow. Should it be kissing the red at all, or do you avoid the red completely? Because this is like the 3rd new meter.
The way we have it tuned, if you're tickling the red, you're okay.
All right. Well, if we're living in the red, then we're in trouble.
If you're living in the red, you'll hear it. And the other thing is, this being digital, okay, overmodulated sound in analog sounds overmodulated. Overmodulated sound in digital sounds horrible. Okay, so you'll hear it. But follow the meters. When your ears will always deceive you, particularly if the speakers are down low or too low or too high. So always follow the meters, because that's what's going on over the air. And remember, the same thing as I told everybody in training, whoever had me for training, is consistency. Is you can't have something super low and then something super high, because then the person's going to be adjusting his or her radio in his car and he's going to be annoyed. And so if it's too loud, is always too loud. But it's easier to boost low than cut down loud, especially when it comes to recording. Another thing for CR2, this is important, the way we have it set up. Again, feedback. People don't like it, we can change it. when you record in CR2, let's go into CR2 because I show you the differences. That's conference.
Yeah. And here I am, I'm just a lemming following you. Is this CR2?
That's CR2. Okay, same board. Okay, there's one little flaw in it, which is going to be rectified by me at some point, because I was talking to the Wheatstone people about this. Channel 12 right now is not operable, but there is a part that I have that I'm going to put in, which will fix that. Okay, but the other 11 channels work just fine. And same idea. There's a default event with CR2 equipment plugged in, mic 1, mic 2. CD1, CD2, CD3, even though there aren't any in here. Digicart, flash, tel, same thing. We're going to have another Comrex interface similar to one CR3 in here too, so you can do phone interviews on and record them. Yes. Okay. We will have that for you. We'll have an iMac. We'll have an audio interface. We'll have all those wonderful things. The one little trick I have to warn you about is when you record in CR2, you record in Audition. Again, we can change this if enough people say they don't like it, but Frank set it up that way because he figured, hey, that's the way they did it in the old CR2. Might as well not confuse people. But actually, I think it might confuse people more. But
how many people record interviews? It's Tom and Howard, right?
Pretty much. Yeah, but you want to know that they do a lot. And the other thing is,
so they're used to the old way. Then it's perfect for them.
That's exactly what Frank was thinking. Okay.
Howard probably wants to do it on that.
Well, Howard he wants to do it on that. He wants to edit with a razor blade. This is a guy who is a sci-fi geek, right?
I know.
Does not own a smartphone, does not own a laptop, does not own, still uses tape to record interviews.
Yeah, preaches to the choir.
Yeah, and I'm like, dude.
He is still using type.
He would if they get away with it.
Yeah.
You know, he'd probably still want to use carts. I mean,
Little brother process.
Yeah.
His first show at CR3, he wanted a surefire way of recording the show, and I found that just pulling your show off the archive is good enough.
It's plenty good enough, yeah.
I do a music show, and I re-listen to my shows in the car.
But he had me
and they were perfect. He was worried about that, so he pulled it a cassette deck.
Well, not only that, he records his Destiny show on on CD and puts it on the computer.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
we're about to purge the studio CDs and digitize every single one we own. What are you doing? But anyway, yes, you record in Audition, and you record through Audacity is on the computer and all those other wonderful things, and you can work out of here now, except that we don't have the CD players installed, because I believe I think we're going to be borrowing at least one or two of them from there. So, and there's going to be a digicart, and the digicart you transmit, if I can get it straightened out with the manufacturer, what we may be able to do is access the digicarts on the computer and then drop the files in. But it's been a big pain in the neck because these people are terrible at writing manuals. You should hire me, but they're on the West Coast. But anyway, we're working on that. Okay, but like I said, you can go on the air from CR1 right now with what's in there, what's in the digicart. The themes aren't in there, but most people carry their own anyway. And the sports isn't in there yet, but I'll do that at some point. The problem is when you transmit entire folders from one digicart to another, it takes time. It's a very slow, slow upload. So you have to tie up both machines for a long period of time, which means you can't take the stuff out of CR3 if people are on the air. But once they're out, so those are the little things we're working on. But the important thing now is the main impediment to us going in there is not enough people knowing how to use it yet, and now we've rectified that somewhat. So, any questions so far?
So, review real quick. Channels 1 through 4 in CR1 are mics.
In the default event, yes.
In the default event, 5, 6, 7, 8 are CDs, or 5, 6 are CDs.
Don't learn it by rote. Check on the board every time you go in.
Yeah.
It can change.
Yeah, but it
Well,
says it digitally.
in the beginning, I'd want to stay in default.
Yeah,
You know,
and then if it's not in default, then you can always hit event, take, default. Goes to default immediately. With the
that's the
exception
same-
of what's playing live.
And that's the same as 1. What you just did makes that board the same as 1. Makes
Well,
it-
no. It makes it event 1 for this board. Okay?
Yeah, each board is programmed with its own set of.
Because remember, you
So
have...
default is default only in there, and default
Yes.
is default
So
only
it could be
here.
completely different.
Well, you gotta remember that you have different microphones in here. You have different CDs in here. You have different different everything. You have different sources in here. So it's set for its own sources. Can I call stuff from in there to use in here? Sure. Vice versa. That thing in particular. But the reel is on the board here. Okay, it's not on the board in there, but I can call it up.
He actually needs to transfer some of the stuff from reel. He's gonna make use. I'm serious, man. He's gonna make use of that.
Look at the stuff that we have on reel.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, man. Got
It's
some good
not
shit.
little stuff.
Yeah.
I like that.
I actually run across reel-to-reel
I
stuff
mean,
all the
look
time
at
at
this.
estate sales.
These people all dead.
Yeah.
In Phil Oakes' case, longer than 40
Tom
years.
Paxton store.
Oh, okay.
He's not
Those
looking
tapes
too
were
bad.
restored.
1980. Okay, and also the other thing is we have no idea what shape these tapes are in. So
You gotta make
this is
sure.
going to be an intern project for
Some
somebody.
of them, some of
Let's
them are
make
going to
them.
be
Some of
great.
them have been
Others
restored.
are
I
going to
think
be
those are
impossible.
But this is what's even funnier is that I know norm's handwriting, as a lot of people do.